Hello everyone, today we're going to be comparing the Cessna 208 Caravan to the Pilatus PC-12. You know, I love a good single-engine utility plane, and these planes are kind of like the most popular in that market. So yeah, I'm going to compare them today, and we're going to figure out which one's the best. First, here we have the Cessna Caravan, been in production since 1984. You know, it's your classic single-engine utility. It's got a pretty basic Cessna cockpit, you know, with the yokes and this one has a 6-pack. You can get them with like G1000 panels and stuff, but this one happens to have a 6-pack. And then here we have the Pilatus PC-12. This plane is from 1994, so it's a bit more modern, of course. It's got a much more streamlined design. You know, Cessna's not really well known for their beautiful looking planes. This one has a bit of a more modern cockpit. This is like the most bare bones cockpit you can get for each of the planes. So you can see this one has a lot more digital screens, of course, because it's newer. I hadn't even looked at the Cessna Caravan interior, but you can already tell that this plane has a much nicer, more comfortable interior just from looking back here. It is also smaller, to be fair. Alright, so now we're going to take these for a spin. First off, the Cessna Caravan. So as you saw before, it's a pretty basic cockpit. It's got a 6-pack, prop control because it's a constant speed propeller, 3-bladed prop. Yeah, so we're just going to take off of runway 7 right here at Anchorage. Of course, so this is a single-engine Cessna, so it has fixed landing gear, so we can't retract that, which that's going to be a problem when we're wanting to go fast. It seems this plane doesn't have much of a problem climbing though, because we're passing through 2,000 feet already. It's been like a minute, so it's definitely got a good climb rate. If we look back here, actually, you got a nice, I wouldn't say spacious cabin, but you can definitely fit a good amount of passengers in here. And there's different configurations, like you can have a high density configuration like this. You can have, this is the passenger version, of course. There's also the Cargo Master, which definitely holds more, if not weight, it can definitely hold more volume than the PC-12. As you can see, this cabin is just so much larger. It even has the cargo pod down here, so you can fit other objects. I don't know. So I gotta say, the Cessna Caravan is definitely the winner in terms of just raw like cargo storage. If you want to carry lots of stuff, probably want to go with the Cessna Caravan. But as you'll see in a bit as we climb up here more, this plane isn't pressurized, so it can't get up to altitudes that high, and that's also gonna take away some speed because there'll be more air resistance down here. So if I bring this thing up to its service ceiling, which is actually 21,000 feet, surprisingly, you can see I don't have any oxygen, so I'm starting to black out. You see the screen's starting to get dark. We have no air up here, so yeah, that's definitely a drawback to the Cessna Caravan. If you had an oxygen mask, you could fly up here, but that's just pretty impractical. We can turn the oxygen on here, and that simulates an oxygen mask so we won't die. But yeah, if we go back down to a safe altitude over here, we can do some more flight testing. So the Cessna Caravan doesn't have too good of a range. It depends on the model, but it's usually around 1,200 miles. So you can get a good distance, like more than you would on your average single-engine prop, but definitely not anything to stand out. And especially with like a full cargo load, you're not getting any more than 1,000 miles on this thing. So it's not the greatest if you want to go long distance non-stop, but of course you can stop and refuel. And of course, if you're gonna have a single-engine utility plane, it's got to be able to land on a short runway. That's something this plane is pretty well known for. So we're just gonna land here at what is it called? Big Lake Airport in Alaska. I'm going so fast. Oh my goodness. This is a gravel strip that's about 2,400 feet, I think it was. Cessna Caravan can land on dirt, gravel, pretty much any surface, grass. That's definitely something to look at, but the PC-12 is also capable of doing all those things, so I'm going incredibly slow now, so I don't know how that happened. I haven't trained for short field approaches yet in real life, I will not lie. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty garbage. I will not take not take any criticism for that landing, but we're just gonna stop here. That's a huge dip in the runway. But yeah, there was no problem stopping there. We can just exit off here. Alright, so this plane, as well as being able to do all those things, it's a lot cheaper to operate than the PC-12 because of its, you know, abundance. You see Cessna Caravans everywhere. And they actually have the same engine. That's different variants, but this plane and the PC-12, they use the same engine. So that is a good thing, I guess, if you could have both, and you would have pretty much the same maintenance on both engines. Okay, so now we're going to test fly the PC-12. Now this plane, my flight instructor just left to fly PC-12s for plane sense, so I have a bit of a, I'm kind of mad at this plane, but I'm going to give it a fair chance, okay? You know, so this plane is Swiss. It was made by Pilatus, as you know. First off, we gotta say it, this is just a better designed cockpit, okay? Like, this is a pretty cool cockpit. It's pretty unique, actually. Like, on the yoke, there's like a map of all the buttons on the yoke. It's a nice cockpit, I gotta say. I'm not sure why it's asymmetric, though. Like, there's this window on the captain side, but on the first officer side, they don't have that window. I don't know why. We're going to take off here. This plane actually doesn't have prop control. It only has a condition lever, which just has ground idle and flight idle. And also this plane, they say to use flaps 15 on takeoff, which is kind of weird for a single engine. And once again, this plane can take off gravel, short runways, dirt, anywhere. So that's pretty much a win for both of them. There we go, I got out of there before that weird bump in the runway. But first thing off, we have a gear lever on this plane. Let's watch that gear come up. Oh yeah. Let's put the flaps up too. So that's gonna help us with speed a lot as we get up to higher altitudes. Also, look at that wing. That is beautiful, I gotta say. I'm sorry, Cessna, but that looks pretty cool. Anyways, this plane's got a 4-prop propeller. I think the newer ones now have 5-prop propellers, but the one in the Caravan PC-12 for X-Plane 11 has a 4-prop propeller, but they go up to 5-prop. You can already see this plane is way faster than the Cessna Caravan. So you can see the red line here is like, what is that, 240 knots. So this plane can go way faster than the Cessna Caravans. So for speed, PC-12, that's a win. And also, something I forgot to mention about the Cessna Caravan, that plane can be amphibious, it can have floats. That's something the PC-12 definitely can't have and doesn't. So for airfield capabilities, that's definitely a win for the Cessna Caravan, because you can't be being able to land on water. Come on. Yeah, so the service ceiling for this plane is actually 30,000 feet. I'm not going to go that high because it's kind of ridiculous. I'll do a 25,000 like the Cessna here. I'll turn on that autopilot. Altitude hold. There we go. So yeah, you can see this plane. We're up here at 24,000 feet. We're just cruising along. Completely pressurized cabin. So you can see that big air intake under the prop here is probably pulling in all that air. So we got a pressurized cabin. The passengers can chill in here comfortably without an oxygen mask on, like they're in a fighter jet or something. We're flying over the Alaskan mountains. Wow, that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice. This plane's range as well. This plane can fly over 2,000 miles non-stop with like light cargo. With a full cargo, it's more like 1,500 around there. But this plane definitely can fly a farther range, so that's just a clear winner for the PC-12 in terms of range. Probably due to it being able to fly at high altitudes without air resistance, without as much air resistance. There isn't no air resistance. Also, I think it's pretty undeniable that this plane looks quite a lot better than the Cessna Caravan. I don't think that's up for much debate. This plane definitely looks pretty awesome, I will admit. I'll give it a go landing back here at this airport with the short runway. The PC-12 supposedly actually has a little bit shorter of a landing distance than the Caravan. It just can't land on water. So, let's test that out here. Oh yeah, but those were some good stopping abilities. Turn off here. But back to the payload for this plane. Its full fuel payload's about 1,000 pounds. That means you could fit about like 5 grown adults with their bags in here with full fuel, which is alright. The Cessna Caravan, the Cargo Master variant, so not the passenger carrying one, can carry over 1,700 pounds with full fuel. So that's definitely still the cargo winner. For the final judging, I will say the PC-12 wins in terms of the pilot's perspective. If you're a pilot, you're gonna want to fly the PC-12 instead of the Cessna Caravan, in my opinion, as a pilot. But in terms of like the operator, like the airline, it's definitely a toss-up, because if you're gonna want to fly like extreme bush, like to like, I don't know, some random river in northern Alaska that's iced over for half the year, you're gonna want a Cessna Caravan. The Pilatus PC-12 isn't even an option in that case. But if you're like a logistics airline in like the Midwest, then the PC-12 might work better for you, depending on the situation. So in terms of like being the operator, you'd have to choose for yourself. But yeah, that's my verdict on the PC-12 versus Cessna Caravan. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go try to learn how to fly the PC-12 properly. Not the Caravan though.